Hello guys, welcome to Sanainfotech. Today's tutorial is about installing MongoDB edition on Ubuntu. So installing MongoDB on EC2 instance is the main goal here. So AWS EC2 instance. So that's why we can have a cheaper solution. So let's start. Make sure you log into your AWS account. You have full access. Go to EC2 instances and launch new instant on the right hand side. And then give any name. MongoDB server. MongoDB test. I'm going to delete this later so I can name anything. So this is test. So by default, it's Amazon Linux, but we are interested in Ubuntu. So that's the quick start. Ubuntu is an open source free operating system. And then it will ask you, by default, it will take the latest free tier Ubuntu machine, which is 24. That's right, not a problem. And then by default, it will also select the T2 micro free tier eligible, which gives you 1 GB memory based on your requirement. You can select what, because it's a test purpose, I'll take a free tier eligible one, but you can increase your GB by scrolling down and looking what you want, tier 3 or tier 4. You have 2 GB memory, 4 GB memory, but it costs you, it's not a free tier. So for this demo purpose, I'll take a free tier one. So free tier. So key pair name. Key pair name is something, if you want to log in remotely to this server, you need to have a permanent key and a private key. So this is what, if you're doing the first time, hit this button, create new key pair, and then follow the instructions and select. By default, it will select, because I already have an existing permanent key, so I'll just select that one. But for you, if you don't have one, you just create a new and connect here. This is important. Create a security group. What you, if you know what you're doing, you can select any one of your existing security group, but if you don't know, I suggest create security group, a new one, and I'll tell you the instructions how to access what MongoDB required, what port, and how to open that port. I'll go through in the next step. So everything is by default, leave by default. So what it's telling is, you just make a note. This is creating a new security group called Launch Wizard 2. So in your case, it might be any other name. So in my case, it's telling Launch Wizard 2 is a security group. So just to make sure, we need this later. So this is the volume, which is the storage of your server. By default, is telling 8. You can have 30 GB up to free. So you can change anything you like by 30 or anything, but I'll stick to 8 as is a demo. Later, I will delete this server. Then everything is set by default, and then hit launch. So it'll take a time for a while when it's launching. So it's all success. But when you go back to your instances, you can see my new one is still, let me reload. Yeah, so the new one which I did, which is a MongoDB test, is still checking status and initializing. So let me go through why I'm adding MongoDB on EC2 instance. It's a cheaper way to cut the cost, is the reason why I'm going to use MongoDB. So let me come back once this is done. Yeah, great. Now you can see the instant is fully installed. Let's go to the instant, get access, and get into the container and start installing MongoDB. So to get inside the instance, I'm going to click instance ID, and then we can directly connect to this instance and have a SSH access by hitting this connect button. But there will be a problem. The reason why I'm mentioning is it's telling your SSH port is not opened, and he's telling make sure it's connected to this region. So what we need to do here is copy this one just to access. Let me put it here and go to my security group. I'm not able to connect, so if I hit connect, so we want to connect using EC2 instance, and if I hit this connect, it's trying to connect, but it will fail because my SSH is not open to anyone. So we need to specifically mention open my SSH connection with this IP address. Oh, that's great. Because it's the same network, it gave me the access to the EC2 instance. But if you're not able to access, what you can do is let me close this. Come back to my EC2 instance and then go to security. You remember we saved the security group as Wizard 2. You can see this launch Wizard 2. If I open a new one, let me open the security group by clicking this link. Yeah, this is where by default we said IVP SSH open TCP 22 for any. This is open to anyone in the whole world. So which is which is not the recommended. You might need to limit to your current IP address. Whatever is your IP address, you can add it here. So that's limited. Only you can access with only your on that IP address. So let's go back to what we're trying to do. Go to my instance and then connect. Yeah, that's fine, and that's fine. Connect. So now I got access to my SSH container. I'm inside my SSH of that instance. Now we need to follow instructions given on the official MongoDB websites. It's quite straightforward. So installing MongoDB Community Edition on Ubuntu. So what you need to do is just check what release you are on. Is recommending either this, either this, either this. So let's check what I'm on. Paste. So great, yeah, I'm on 24.02, which is a noble one. That's what is recommended by MongoDB community. Let's go down. What it's telling is for a terminal to install, import public key. I want to skip this because I'm directly accessing my instance through the same network within the AWS. But if you want to access remotely, this is what it's trying to suggest and do it. GP key follow, yeah. So yeah, let's go to the next one. Yeah, let's import the MongoDB public GP key. Yeah, let's, if they are not available. Yeah, let's do it. Follow the instructions. Paste. Done. Go to the next one. Copy. Then paste. Perfect. Done. Let me increase some of the amount so you can see what I'm doing. So the next is, so what it's telling is to create a file with this name. So to create a file with this name, you can either just directly copy the instruction what this is telling. It will already create a file for you. So based on your Ubuntu, make sure you tab correctly which one you're looking for. We close this. Come here. What this will do is this will create a file. Let me show you. CD EC2, and inside EC2 apt source list. Apt source list. Yeah. So if I do ls, so this the curl, the echo command what I did created this file, and if you want to see what's in that file, you can see cat, and that file has some command or things which server and what we need to install on. So this is the detail. So now that's done, and let's upgrade this following command, reload the packages of the database. So let's reload the package of the database. Let me go back. It doesn't matter, but let's safe side go back. So this will see any packages is outdated. I want to upgrade, so it will upgrade all the packages. So let's see what's next command. And then it's telling install MongoDB community server, which is the latest version. Let's go back. Yeah, everything is done successfully. Let me clear and go up, and then paste. So this is what actually the MongoDB package has been installed. It won't take long. It's just a few seconds or a minute. Let's go back and see what next. So when everything has been installed, if your Linux is telling something else to do, which we don't need here. Now let's see what system we are on. For example, if you copy this, yeah, all successful, everything is updated. So if I copy this and paste, it will tell me what I need to use to restart and to upgrade. So I'm using system temptd. So this if you're unsure which init system your platform uses, so by this you will either get system temp or init. So in our case we are using this. So what it's telling is to start MongoDB process by copying this. So this starts my MongoDB server. Good. And then once you start, if you receive any error like this, it's telling to copy and paste this one, which we don't have. We are fine. We didn't get any error. Now to verify MongoDB has started successfully, you can check the status by this command. Let me come up and then paste. Look at that. It's active and is running. Everything is set. And make a note, the config file is by default on this path, which is EC2 and MongoDb config. So just remember this, we're going to use this next. So what we need to do is, let's check. Mongo status is done. And we need to enable. You can optionally enable the MongoDB with the following system reboot issue. Yeah, in some case, if your server is restarting, so if you enter this command, by default, as soon as the server restart, MongoDB will be enabled. So that's creating a symlink to restart the server. That's great. Our server is running. The next step would be to do some configuration and to make sure we access this MongoDB through MongoDB Compass edition. So I have a GUI which is MongoDB Compass. I would like to connect remotely and access my EC2, access my MongoDB. Cheers, thanks, bye. Hey, welcome back. Now we have created EC2 instance. We also installed MongoDB package. The next step would be we need to create a database and give access to a user for that database. So let's continue. So you're back in your SSH. So now to create a database, you need to type mongosh, mongosh. So this goes inside your command. So this is where by default you have a test database. So let me go up. So this is your by default test database. So there are a few things we will set up later, not to worry. So now say use and give a database name. So in this case, I'm going to give a database name as anything, but you can give anything. I'll give as your target database. So hit enter. So now you are switched back from test to your target database. Correct? Now while being inside this database, you need to give a access. You need to create a user who have access to this database. This is how we create access to the database, doing db.createUser, tell the username, and then give the password and add a role. And role I'm giving just read and write. And what database am I giving this user is associated with that database which we just created. Now in terms of roles, you have a detailed explanation on the official website, MongoDB manual reference built-in roles. So I'll provide you the link at the bottom. So when you go self-hosted deployment built-in roles, you can see you have a read role, you have a read-write role, you have DB admin and their detailed explanation what that admin can do, DB owner. So different varieties of role you can do as per your requirement. But for this, I'll just give read and write a role. So copy this, go back, right click, paste, and hit enter. Voila, look, the role is created, everything is fine. And now the next step is to check from the remote, do we have access? So see you back. Welcome back. So we have already launched EC2 instance and we have installed the packages. We have created a database. Now the next step is to change some configuration on MongoDB. Remember initially when I said you want to check the status. To check the status, the command is, let me check, we have it here. Yeah, to check the status, this is the command in the official website. And then you hit paste. And this tell active, everything is running fine, but I told you initially the config file is in this path. So what we need to do is we need to go to this part and do some configuration setting for us to access this database from remotely. So what I need to do is sudo v is the editing software I'm going to use, and then the folder name and the file name. Hit enter. So now by default this config file is available. So what we need to do is, as you can see here, sorry, not sure what's happening. Let me exit. Oh, it's a V. So let me do nano. I'm very familiar used to nano. Let me quit, which is :q exclamation. Sudo nano EC2 mongo config. Yeah, this is what I like. So now what we need to do here is, as you can see, is bind locally in the same network, which only accessed by localhost, which is 127.0.0.0.1. So that means anyone from outside remotely of this AWS network cannot access this. To make sure we have access from outside remotely, the purpose of building AWS in EC2 is to have a different database server dedicated for our MongoDB database, and then we can access it remotely. So what you need to do is just delete this and hit 00. That means anybody from outside can access to this database. So Control X, then hit Y, telling that I want to keep these changes, and hit enter to save. Yeah, that's saved now. That's done. There is one more thing we need to do is access to the security group. So we haven't done yet, because if I open a PowerShell, so you can open a PowerShell like this, Windows PowerShell, and you can check if you ping to this server, is it accessible or not. So if you go back to your instances and select your instance, you'll have few different things. You have a public IVP, you have a public DNS, and you have a private one. Let's ping our public IPv4. So to ping is that just to check if remotely I can have access to this server. So now you can see the pinging started, but the request has timeout, and we send request 1, but we received none, lost, so 100% is lost. This clearly shows we don't have access to this server. So what we need to do to have access to this server is we need to go to a security group, security, and the one security group we launched initially, we created a security group while creating EC2 instance, which is Launch Wizard 2. So this is launch wizard 2. So let's go inside the group security ID to see what are the permissions we have here. So now you can see at the moment inbound rules. I just have a SSH by default one while creating a EC2 instance. So to ping, you need a specific rule here. So let's edit inbound and add a new one. So for pinging, we might need a rule called all port. So that one is yeah. Let me check. So this one is ICMP. I just want a basic ICMP. All ICMP here, and here custom, and here 0. So that means anybody can ping from anywhere, but just need to make sure it's all. I don't want this. I want all TCP, all ICMP v4. V4. Are we trying to do v4? Yeah, v4. We are great. So this ping is done. Let me save the rule. So now let's try to ping from outside. I do have access. Great. Now you see when I activate it, it sent 4 requests and we receive 4 requests. That means we have access to that server. But now we still don't have access to our MongoDB. The reason, let me show you why. So make sure you have this MongoDB compose, and then let's do a new connection. This is a new connection. So you must be aware how MongoDB connects is. You need to have a MongoDB with your username, password, and with your host stuff. So to generate your link to connection is, let me show you just a moment. Let me quickly create one which I wanted. Okay, cool. Let me do this. So to do a connection, what you need to do is MongoDB : So it's telling you the public IP address plus the port. So you can grab a public IP address from here and replace that to here, and the port is the same. But now you just have you can also directly log in with the username and the password as well. So to directly log in with the username and password, what you need to do is here you need to add your username. Initially, remember, we added a username by new user. So let me type that: your new user, then @ followed by password, your password. Let me see if everything is correct. MongoDB, the string to connect is, just a moment, let me check. So MongoDB : followed by your, also, okay, sorry, it's not @ it's the colon. And then when you finish your password, when I finish the password, followed by @. So now let's hit save and connect. So let me name this test MongoDB. Save and connect. So look, it's connecting. I know it won't connect because our port is not open on that server. Let me show you how to open that. So let's wait. It's connecting. It's reading. It's trying to communicate to the server and trying to connect, and it will fail after a while. So while it's doing, let me explain you what's happening. According to it's timeout now. So that means connection is not refused, which is a good result. It's just timeout because it's keep pinging and nothing is happening. So according to MongoDB, the port, so being used MongoDB use a default port 27017, but in our security group, we just have 22 port open. We don't have 2710 port open. So then yes, what we need to do is edit inbound, and we need to add a rule. And then what we need to do is just a moment. You need to select TCP by default and type the port which you are looking for, what MongoDB has suggested, which is 27017. Wow, it's not typing. Sorry, my keyboard not working. Let me do it again. Yeah, two. What happening, man? 270. So back 017, and then it should be custom, and then open to all. So anyone can access from outside only this port with these any IP address. But this is a good example. If you want, if your application in different EC2 instance, instead of doing all, you can just give that IP address. So for example, your application is on this IP address or this IP address. If you have a static IP, then grab that static IP and just put it here. So that will allow only this. But just for an example, I'm just doing 000, or this can suggest my IP address as well. My IP address. So my current IP address is my office, which is this, but it's fine. What we can do is custom 0000. Yeah, that's done, and save this rule. So what's happening is we're opening the port for MongoDB to access from outside. Now let's do the final test. Let me go back to my previous connection and then edit connection string, confirm, and then hopefully save and continue. This will allow the connection. If not, I'll be surprised. Ah, connection refused. There was a problem. So let's see. Let's do the pinging. Why is it not connecting? So to ping, let me follow. Yeah, guys, I figured out what was the issue. Remember initially when we did change the config file. Uh, let me show you. So the config file we changed was uh, sudo nano ect mongo. Yeah, remember when we changed this to 0000? After the change, what we need to do is we need to restart to make sure that changes are applied. So what you need to do is you need to grab this system ctl restart MongoDB and paste, hit enter. Once you restart, then what you need to do is go to your compose DB, the one I wanted to connect, so edit connection. So your connection string is with prefix of MongoDB, ;/ with your username, your password, @ followed by your IP address, which is the public key on your EC2 instance, which is this one, copy here, followed by your port, and then your database. So once you have that, let's see. Once you have that, save and connect. Voila, connected to your test MongoDB. Now you can see I have access to the default database admin config local as well as the one I created, which is your target DB. Thanks for joining, guys. Thank you. I hope this is a helpful video to you. Please subscribe the channel. Thank you. Bye.